guys, Rachele here with Amethyst Ascension. If you are new here, welcome. And if you are returning, thank you so much for joining me again. So today what I'm doing is a hashtag called TheReaderIam. And this is a VR to James Feeney. I originally seen this on Saturnarium's channel. I thought it was wonderful, so then I went and watched James, his original video, and so I figured I would do it. So I've just got it pulled up here on my computer, and what these are is just pretty much a series of questions to talk about what kind of a reader you are. And so the first question is, what is the primary system of divination that you use, as specific as possible? The primary system that I use is Rider-Waite right now. That is because that is the system that I know with confidence. So whenever I'm reading for other people, I use the Rider-Waite system. So, but I also add other things to that. I add any level of like astrology that I understand, colors. Okay, sorry. There's just so much noise going on around me today. Yard work and vacuuming, which I have to do next too. So anyways, I use the Rider-Waite system. Although some of the meanings are my own thoughts on the meanings of the cards, or what I had, for the most part, the general meaning that the card is. However, just little bits and pieces that I've changed that are my own perception of what that card really means, or how that works for me. Also, I do use a level of my own intuition mixed in with that, and, you know, whatever feelings that come across while I'm using the initial meanings. Anything, you know, that I get further, because I do read with several different decks, so whatever the pictures also kind of tell me that story along with the actual meanings. Sometimes it varies depending on, you know, the layout that I'm looking at, but most generally I like to use the meanings. And I also will put other things on top of that, you know, little bits of like numerology and astrology and colors, color associations, and those color associations, how they affect the chakra, yada, yada, yada. So that's how I pretty much read right now. However, I am reading about the Thoth, which I love this deck. I am very excited about, and sorry, I just did not feel like doing anything with myself today. No makeup, no nothing, all natural. So I did not want to be in front of the camera. So I thought, this is something prettier to look at, right? So yeah, so I do want to learn the Thoth. I've read the majority of the Book of Thoth by Aleister Crowley, and I am about halfway through the Understanding the Thoth Tarot by Duquette, I believe is his name. And that's much easier for me. Definitely. I had people tell me that that's the one I should start off with, but you know me, I got to do things my own way. So I will eventually, after reading through Understanding Thoth, probably go back and read the Book of Thoth again and go from there. The second question, who do you read for? Well, I read for myself. I read for family. I read for friends. I read for clients. Yeah. I have read for strangers, you know, who are like friends of friends or friends of family, but they're strangers to me. I have done that. I have done like reading exchanges and read for other people that way. So what types of readings, the next question is, what types of readings do you normally do? Topics, spreads, time, medium. Okay, so for me, I absolutely, my most favorite type of spread right now or reading that I love to do is the past life readings. They are so amazing. They are my most favorite to do. They're just so in depth. I've done them for myself. I've done them for other people. I've done paid ones for other people. And the things that come to me during these are amazing because I love history. So I just get like these flashes of things in my head, whether it be flashes of movies that I've seen or flashes of stories that I've heard as I'm doing these. And it like really puts things into perspective for me. The other readings I do is my weekly readings. Any other kind of readings that are like I just did one. I'll show you. For Beltane. I just did that for myself. It was really, really good. I mean, I do readings all the time. I mean, several every day. I've been doing one since I got this, which is just like a, not tarot, but an oracle. Pull a card or use it in a spread. I love it. I didn't think I would love this deck, but I definitely love it. So, let's see. What is your reading style? And examples would be analytic, intuitive, spiritual, predictive, or future. Okay, so for me, I start with a base of the meanings of the cards. And as I've said, it doesn't always have to mean the actual meaning in the book. It usually does. Some of them, I get just a little variation of that is what I feel for that particular card. Okay? But in general, I start off with the meaning. So I analyze that. And then whatever kind of intuitive hits that I get, which are quite frequent. Like I said, I get pictures in my head that play out like a story based on the information that's placed out in front of me. Sometimes I actually use the pictures with little images from the pictures that spark something. Spiritual, definitely. I always ask my higher self in order to connect with the person that I'm reading, their higher self, in order to relay the best possible and truest message that I can from the cards, that I have the highest level of discernment when I'm reading and the most objectivity. So I'm definitely spiritual because I feel like there is something else at work, and I'm not sure, is there a shuffling thing here? When I shuffle, and sometimes it takes forever for me to shuffle. It's a good thing I'm not doing like timed readings. I'm not saying I'm never going to get to that point, but I'm definitely not at that point in this, in this stage of my development when it comes to being a tarot reader. Because what I mean by that is I shuffle until they fly out for whatever question is being asked at the time. And I continually ask the question in my mind as I'm waiting for the card to fly out. Sometimes it's one card, sometimes it's several cards, and I usually use all the cards that fly out unless it's just like a huge stack. Then I don't. But let's see. Predictive. I mean, if I see something in the cards, I'm not reading the cards as they're supposed to be foretelling a future. I'm not usually reading in like a fortune telling kind of sense. I see the tarot as like archetypes for the different things and stages that we go through in our life cycle. And this can determine what cycle we are at, or what stage of that cycle we are at, depending on the cards, depending on the questions. Sometimes that can be, like in a spread, it can talk about what the near future is going to be or whatever. In that case, I would say what it is in the spread. However, I always keep in mind that, see, I think that once you know about certain things, this is why I don't want to know about my future. I want things to be organic. I want to learn and grow organically rather than know what my future holds, because then I think that the fact of knowing it could change my future. You understand? It's like some sci-fi crazy stuff, right? But that's how I feel about it. So I believe that once you know something, and that's why I say it's more like a guidance kind of thing, rather than actual cut in stone, this is what's going to happen in your future. Because once you know that, it changes everything. And we have free will. So I think that pretty much answers all those things about how I read and what my concept of reading is. What types of readings do you conduct? Well, what types of readings do you normally do? Okay. Oh, evaluative, coaching, empowering, reflective. I gotcha. Okay, so I would say a little of all of that. Evaluative, if it is a card is in a position of finding out where you are right now, it's like taking a snapshot of what's going on in your life. Maybe some things that you don't even recognize, okay? Or for myself, things that I don't recognize about myself. Because, I think life is about discovery and exploring and experiencing. So, yes, I would say evaluative. Coaching, absolutely. If somebody needs guidance and the cards are telling them, don't worry about that guy that you're with. You need to focus on yourself and grow yourself, because no matter what, even the next relationship is not going to work if you have these hang-ups and you keep having these kind of problems. So coaching, as in, if that's what they're asking for, but that's kind of like my style. I can't help it. I could help it, but I can't help it, if you know what I mean. I always see like the things that happen in our lives are about the choices that we make. So coaching, yes. Empowering, absolutely. Always empowering. I'm always trying to help others recognize their own power and recognize that they have a choice in what happens in their life by the decisions that they make and the way that they handle situations. Because I believe it's all about growth. And reflective. Yeah, absolutely reflective. Seeing that it is because of these actions that, or the choices that you made, that this is the situation that you're currently dealing with. So going forward, how can you help yourself to find your way out of that situation? What are some good exercises that we can do in order to maybe see our own shadows that we don't normally see? So the next question is, what is your ideal reading atmosphere? My ideal reading atmosphere is quiet. Unlike today with all of the noise and the yard work and everything, I got to have my windows open though, because it's so nice out. But I like to light a candle. I like to get some incense going. I like to have some really relaxing music, like vibrational music, and kind of just sets that tone. And then I ask my higher self, you know, for the guidance and the discernment in order to be able to read these cards in the way that they should be read for the betterment of the particular person that I'm reading for, or for my own sake, having the most objectivity. Yeah, that kind of environment. Powerful and meditative and not full of drama, not just like a really good, reflective, safe space environment. That's what I like. Reversals, jumpers, shuffling style. Okay, that's the next question. So I have said all along that I don't read reversals. However, in actuality, I do read reversals because I love having spreads. My mind is so friggin' scattered. I can see so many opportunities in the cards or options or different paths in one card. So I need, at this level of my development, I need something like a spread that helps channel it, helps keep it like with the ability to focus on what I'm trying to. So I'm extremely careful about the wording of the questions so that I get a clear and precise answer. And I love having a good spread. And reversals, if the spread is calling for something that you need to be releasing, then that is what I would consider the shadow aspect of that card, or the reverse of that card, regardless of whether or not it's actually in a reverse situation. So an actual true reversal where I read them from an upside down position, no. But an actual shadow aspect of that card, yes. It just depends on the situation. It depends on the question. It depends on how it falls with the other cards. Jumpers, I only use jumpers, and that's why it takes forever for me to shuffle the cards. It could take forever, literally. So when you see me doing spreads on my channel, or when I am doing a reading for you guys, because I do readings, I sell them off of my Etsy, and then I will either email them to you if that's what you choose, or I put them on my website on an unlisted video for you. And in those, 9 times out of 10, I will fast forward through the actual shuffling part of it. You'll see it, but it takes forever because I just feel like by me not picking it, by it flying out in the shuffling, that is when it is my higher self that's essentially picking it out as I'm shuffling and putting that card down, meaning that that's the right card. I have complete confidence that it's the right card that's coming out. And yeah, shuffling style. I need to get a better shuffling style, I would say, because I will riffle shuffle if it is a deck that I can do that with comfortably. If it is a deck that I'm afraid of wrecking it or whatever, like Llewellyn, like the Everyday Witch, oh my gosh, that is just a great deck for shuffling. The card stock, even though it's thin, it's perfect for shuffling. It's just, it puts me in that very meditative and ready to go state. So I love like the Everyday Witch and Tarot Marchetti's Gilded Tarot, and, you know, decks like that. What is your delivery tone? Constructive, positive, reflective, action-oriented? I would say all of the above. I feel like it depends on who the querent is, what type of reading they are looking for, and that is going to determine, you know, as somebody that is very strong in picking up on other people's emotions, it is very easy for me to tell what I feel like that person needs, what they are requiring from the reading that they're getting, and whether or not they need me to be, well, I always try to keep a positive. I think in everything that there is a positive way of looking at everything in life, even the hard stuff. So I'm always positive. Constructive, yeah, constructive. How can somebody take direction? How can you, well, for me, I feel like constructive advice, if that's what they're asking for, but knowing me, I'm going to throw it in there anyways. I can't help it. That's just like, as I said, it depends on the reading too. I mean, if it's a past life, it's not really about constructive. It's just about what the cards are telling you. It's not about going forward or anything like that. Reflective, absolutely reflective. And action-oriented sometimes. If, depending on what kind of a spread that they're asking for, if they need some sort of guidance to help them move on to the next stage, or what do they do with the information that they just received? What is a way of, putting an action plan in, like, maybe getting a crystal, or doing some meditation, or talking to a specific person if they're giving you problems, rather than just trying to squash it or whatever. So, yeah, action oriented. And the last question, what are some of your personal reading quirks? Example, correspondences that you tend to draw on, habits that you have, little details that you alone use and have. Okay, so as I said, I like to, if I have the knowledge, I like to draw in, because I'm still learning. I mean, I'm always going to be learning, but I'm like very, very much a novice, okay, when it comes to several different things, like numerology, like astrology, chakra. I have a little bit more understanding of that because I started studying about the chakras years and years and years ago, before I ever became a witch, long before I ever started doing tarot, all that. So I bring in that kind of stuff into it as well. And then whatever kind of images pop in my head. Sometimes I'll hear a song that pops in my head and what that song means to me. Sometimes I will see a picture or a movie that pops in my head, depending on what the question is, or what image comes up in that particular card, what pops out. So stuff like that. Little details that you alone use and have. I think that pretty much answers everything. So I hope to see more people doing this. I'm going to be watching more videos. I love watching and seeing what other people are doing and their reading styles, and who they're reading for, and how long they've been reading. And I've been reading, which it wasn't really in this, but I've been reading, I started studying, not actually reading for other people, but reading for myself, probably October of 2018. So it's not been that long. Not at all. So there you go, guys. As I said, I will put the links to Saturnarium's channel, to this particular video, and also to James Feeney. And again, it is called TheReaderIAm hashtag, and I hope to see other people join in. And I am sending you love and light. Thank you.